Breitling has a very low barrier of entry. To get started when it comes to Breitling, all you really need is about $2,000. Now, let's be real. $2,000 will get you started in Breitling, but $3,000 to $4,000 in Breitling will open up a lot of doors, a lot of models, and get you into things brand new. So the low barrier of entry is really appealing to a lot of people, including myself, when I first got started in timepieces. The Breitling Chronomat blue dial with white chronos was my first timepiece, and it's a great brand and piece to start with because of the low barrier of entry and your money's safe. What's up, guys? My name's Chris Warrens, and I own 4 companies. I deal watches. I'm the founder of a nonprofit. I have real estate, and I'm the founder of Warrior Consulting, where I coach entrepreneurs internationally up to the 9-figure mark. And everything that I teach them, I am teaching you here for free. So buckle up and let's get into the show. So today we're going to talk about why start with a Breitling. First and foremost, just so everyone's on the same page, Breitling was my first actual timepiece after I went by Invictas and G-Shocks and Citizens and so on and so forth. But I'm going to give you 3 things here to why to start with a Breitling. Number 1 is most people don't see Breitlings for what they actually are when it comes to value, which is cash. So if you were to take your Breitling off your wrist, just like a Rolex, and hand it over to someone, if you paid $5,000 for that Breitling, you are handing them $5,000. Let's say you got to get out of a jam. Maybe you're getting robbed. Maybe you're at a poker table. Maybe you just have to get out of a jam and you have to hand over some money, but you don't have any money on you. You could take your Breitling off your wrist and hand it over because the cash that you put on your wrist is just sitting there. And a lot of people use this tactic to get themselves out of jams. All right, number 2, Breitling has a very low barrier of entry. To get started when it comes to Breitling, all you really need is about $2,000. Now, let's be real. $2,000 will get you started in Breitling, but $3,000 to $4,000 in Breitling will open up a lot of doors, a lot of models, and get you into things brand new. So the low barrier of entry is really appealing to a lot of people, including myself, when I first got started in timepieces. The Breitling Chronomat blue dial with white chronos was my first timepiece, and it's a great brand and piece to start with because of the low barrier of entry and your money's safe. All right, number 3. This is one of the coolest parts about any watch, but in my career, the most traded timepiece is Breitling. Why? So number 3, the point is it's easily tradable. Every timepiece is easily tradable, but a lot of people start with Breitling. It's their first timepiece. And then somewhere along the way, they decide they want a Rolex, which is very common. So what they do is they trade up into a Rolex. Unlike cars and houses, watches don't have trackable paperwork, and the warranties are transferable if the watch has a warranty. So let's say you spent $3,000 on a nice Breitling. After a year, you decide, you know what? I'm doing well. I'm ready for a Rolex. You come to a dealer. We say, hey, listen, the Rolex you want is $10,000. You spent $3,000 on your Breitling. You want a $10,000 Rolex. So what you do is you take the Breitling that you bought for $3,000. You ask the dealer if they'll take a trade, and most likely they will. They should pay you around what you bought it for. You take that $3,000 Breitling and you hand it to them. They will ask for some cash on top because it's a $3,000 Breitling and a $10,000 Rolex in this example. So you hand them $7,000 in cash and your Breitling, and you get the Rolex back. It's not limited to these brands we just said. However, it's very common with Breitling because of its low barrier of entry, and it's typically right before you get into Rolex, and that's one of the coolest things about Breitling is they're easily tradable. So why start with a Breitling? Well, that's why I started with a Breitling, and that's why I suggest you could start with a Breitling. You don't have to start with a Breitling, but those are some good reasons why you can. So if you have any questions regarding why you can start with a Breitling, or just want to talk about anything really when it comes to Breitlings or watches, drop a comment below. Make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.